We're here today with Peter Williams, the CEO of Deloitte Digital. Innovation and QSRs, what are you noticing here? What trends?
What I'm really seeing is the move to incorporate a lot more technology into the way that QSRs operate, and particularly how they engage with customers. So traditionally it was very much a sort of physical, on-the-spot presence where people would turn up and buy. These days we're seeing people turn up to QSRs, but also the potential to pre-order, go to websites and look at what's available, incorporating mobile, providing wireless internet access in store so people can sort of come in and share the experience they're having. So we're seeing quite a bit of innovation. There's also innovation in terms of how we're breaking down processes, getting better visibility around, supply chain issues, or how can we improve throughput through drive-throughs, all those type of things, reduce error rates of orders, all those sort of things. So we're seeing innovation happening across the board. I think one of the key things though for QSRs is that innovation can sort of really go across your whole business, whether it's the way you train staff. A lot of staff in QSRs are obviously quite young and probably most have an iPhone, so are we delivering training over an iPhone? Are we doing sort of, people come on board, or if we've changed safety policies, do we make them sort of watch an iPhone video? Because whilst they'll all have a computer at home, they're effectively now carrying a computer in the pocket, and we can really engage. So innovation can really just spread internally, externally across your whole business.
Can you give us some specific examples where QSRs are really embracing technology and getting those returns? Yeah,
I think what I'm seeing is, say if we take for example Domino's and the use of web and mobile, the returns that they're getting have been massive, and because what they've really done is provided this extremely great customer experience, really easy to use, really easy to order, really easy to surface products and things that they're doing. And what I'm seeing is that because they're the easiest to access, their sales are going up. So their ability to sort of compete with I suppose the corner pizza shop or whatever, because they've got the scale, because they've got the systems, they're really able to sort of engage with people. And I know my kids are big orders of Domino's pizzas, and they just love the fact that they don't have to ring up or talk to anybody or anything. They just go online, order, and it all just happens. They get confidence about when delivery times are going to be. So I'm seeing that sort of innovation. I'm also looking at, if, for example, McDonald's providing free Wi-Fi. I'm seeing that the notion that every customer is effectively walking in with a computer in their pocket these days, and they're more than happy to share what they're doing. They're checking in on things like Foursquare. They're tweeting out what they're doing while they're in the store. But if you don't have Wi-Fi access and they may not have a data plan on their phone, they're not being able to share and propagate that experience. So I'm seeing this sort of notion of really using technology to create I suppose a great experience, but also creating an ongoing virtual relationships which then bring people back in store. And we know that the people who are actively engaged in social media forums, they become your advocates, and they tend to spend something like 2/3 more than a non-connected customer. So my view would be really trying to embrace the society trends that we see of social networking, connectivity, mobility into what you're doing is a probably fairly easy way to start.
We've all heard about Facebook, we've all heard about Twitter. Foursquare, that's another social media platform. Why is it so uniquely positioned to drive business to QSRs?
So with Foursquare, it's effectively an iPhone app that you push the icon, it opens up and says, we'll locate where you are, and it will come up and say, I'm at McDonald's or I'm at Rent Rooster or wherever. You push, you check in, and if you check in the most, you become the mayor. So it has an element of what we call game mechanics in there, where people can just check in, and it's got the organisation who's involved, in most cases, don't even know that people are checking in, and they don't realise that they've got somebody who's the mayor, who's desperately keen to keep that mayorship and keep turning back up, and those mayors are also providing tips and this is great, or the best time to go is when here, or I tried the new product that they're doing. So there are people actually talking about you and propagating their experience through their networks, and most organisations don't even know it. So, so what we're saying to people is really you can claim ownership of your site on Foursquare. So if you're running a QSR, you can sort of put a sticker on it, check in on Foursquare here. If you're the mayor, we'll give you a special. And create this sort of competitive drive to wanting to go back into your restaurant more regularly, so you keep that kudos there.
What are you noticing from overseas trends and innovations that would go well here?
The stuff that I've been most interested in has particularly been around the notion of McDonald's, I'm not sure what state it was, I think it was in Ohio, actually broke the process down of placing your order in a drive-through from the person fulfilling the order. So what we generally see in Australia is somebody with a headset taking orders and trying to fulfil. That's, particularly if it's a guy who probably can't multitask, that's just a recipe for error and problem. So what they did is they created a system where people could log in, register as a order taker, log in, they sort of self-manage the rostering and all that stuff, and they would take the orders from remotely, put them into the system so the person doing the fulfilment could concentrate on what they were doing. And what it meant was that throughput went up something like 5% and error rates were effectively eliminated. So starting to look at, what are those problems that we've got, or what are those issues that continue to arise, and is there some smart way of sort of leveraging technology or leveraging the crowd to be able to actually solve them and improve your profitability. I also look at what Starbucks is doing with My Starbucks. So My Starbucks is effectively an idea capture system for your customers. So if you go to Starbucks, you might want to suggest a new product, you might want to make a suggestion in terms of better efficiency, better throughput, whatever it might be about the in-store experience. But actually asking your customers for their ideas is an innovative thing, because normally we tend to think that, the great luminaries in the centre know everything, but I believe that intelligence lies on the fringe of the network. So your end users know more about the experience they're having than you ever will.
Why is it so important that QSRs embrace social media?
I don't think we've ever seen anything, I know since I've been involved in the web since 1993, I've never seen anything sort of explode like social media before. And the reality is that over 50% of Australians are using, say Facebook, and they almost use that as their default page. A lot of them, and the younger generation, are all there, which is like right smack bang in the middle of the demographic that drives a lot of, sort of sales in QSRs. So the thing is that people are there, they're talking about you. If you're not participating or not, they're still talking about you. So the first thing you've got to do is listen. And it's very simple. There are plenty of tools out there which allow you to monitor what's being said and get a feel for what's going on. At the next level, it's the notion of engaging. People out there are advocates for their favourite QSR. My wife, for example, used to work at McDonald's, is the greatest advocate for McDonald's in the world, and she's on there Facebook talking about it all the time. Now, harnessing somebody who's a real advocate for you, if somebody says something bad, rather than you having to defend yourself, you'll find you've got these advocates who jump in on your behalf. And also, those advocates propagate their thoughts and feelings and things about what you're doing out to their audience. So again, the ability to sort of tap into your customers and drive really positive word of mouth is great. The other thing is also to start to think about, when you're introducing new products, are you going down a path where there could be a societal backlash? So it may be you come up with some packaging and it's not clear whether it's recyclable or not. Bang, you'll have a whole heap of people, screaming and yelling from the rooftops. Or you might incorporate an ingredient that comes from an endangered rainforest or something. Bang, suddenly these things explode. You can actually sense whether you're going to get a backlash about what you're doing through the discussions in social media before it hits the front page of the Sydney Morning Herald or the Herald Sun. So my view is, listen. When you're about to embark on something, just think a bit more broadly about what sort of risks, whether it's around wastage, whether it's around health, whether it's around ingredients, whether it's around, sweatshops or whatever those things are, to say, is there any potential risk here as we go out and try and introduce a new product or try and, sort of enhance our brand. So being able to just listen, engage, build up a set of advocates who will sort of work on your behalf. Really great things to do, and it really promotes your brand, promotes your business and increases sales and keeps on loyalty going.
Pete Williams, thanks for your time today with QSR Media.